Anyone else have a Pokemon TV guide from 1999? Is it just me? Well, the boys always wanted a Pokemon YouTube channel, so I will give it to them. It is that time of the week again where we declutter another section in this hoarded basement. And the past few weeks, we have been doing really good opening up this front section of the basement. Now, we still have a lot of work to do, and that's okay because I am recovering in my hoarding. And I find that it's best to just declutter these smaller sections at a time so that we can be successful. And as I kept opening this space, I had noticed that all the keep things started going behind me, and it was getting a little miscellaneous and a little messy, and I kind of would like to kind of rearrange it a little bit. I kind of laughed at myself and kind of felt like I was a dog digging the hole and all the dirt's behind me. That's how it kind of felt like. So I think it's best in this episode is to kind of like focus on this back area, kind of rearrange it so that I can start to see the organized bins. So when we find things, I know exactly where to put it. And I also noticed that this back corner, we never officially decluttered it since we started the basement last month. So I think it's best to get back there and declutter these miscellaneous things. Now, I'm going to dub this episode kind of rough organizing, if you will. You know when you write a story and it's your rough draft and then you proofread it and you edit it and then you submit the polished story? Well, this is my rough organization. We're going to be putting the bins together. We're going to be loosely labeling so we can identify things, and it's just prepping it for the final organizational video. And to get that decluttering and organizational momentum going, I start with the easiest thing, which is this. This is my life vest that I did just get in. I am on a crew team, everyone. I always wanted to do crew and, row the boat. And I am a vixen this year, but I needed a life vest. Now, since this is technically sporting goods, I think it's best if I take it out of the basement and put it into the back shed. And one day we'll reorganize this too, but not in the middle of a heat wave. And back in the basement, the next easiest decision for me is, hubby's clothes, because I don't have to make that decision. But I'm not going to leave it laid out on the basement either. So I'm going to go to my handy dandy little storage bin stash in the back. I'm going to pull one of the bins out, and I'm going to start to put everything in the bin so that all of hubby's things can be together. So when he's ready, he can go through and make the decisions of what he's keeping and letting go of. And I have this bin right over here that doesn't have a label. And okay, I did label this because this is the toddler books that we found not too long ago. So I think it just kind of fell off. So luckily I have my handy dandy paper and tape and scissors and markers so that I can start to label the bins and see what's inside of it. This is part of the rough draft organization. And you can see some of the bins are labeled and some of the things behind it are not. So these are things that we're going to have to go through and declutter. So first things first, I gotta move these bins and boxes out of my way so I have some room to get in here. So starting with this basket, I see I have an old caboodles that honestly, I probably am going to keep this. I'm not really ready to let it go. But this piece of paper is absolutely a tossy-tossy. Same with this. Why am I holding on to it? We can absolutely let this go. Even these headphones, my sons already have new ones. And after I'm looking at this bin, there's a lot of old wires and things that are outdated. And I don't need to keep stuff. We already have new things. So I think most of the items in this bin, I'm going to let go of. Now, this book right here, I actually have two of these. I bought one for myself and one was a gift. So we're going to let that go too. And underneath of that is an old binder and some old paperwork. And I'm so tired. I am so tired of holding on to papers and binders. it's time to let this go too. And each week that we're decluttering, it's getting a lot easier for me to identify what's tossy-tossies because I don't have emotional attachments to it anymore. I'm not thinking of a million reasons why I need to hold on to it. I'm actually starting to see it as, why did I keep this? We totally need to recycle this and let it go. Now I got to show you this right here. Look at these 80s shoes. Now, I bought these from a Goodwill in 2005 for Halloween because I wanted to be 80s Madonna. So we can totally let this go, and this band as well. And speaking of the 80s, look at these like flower bathtub like applicators so you don't slip. I mean, that screams 80s or 90s, and honestly, we can let that go. As I look through the paper of this box lid, we can let this go. This top piece of paper is not even my handwriting. I didn't even write this, and I don't know who did. So there's no need for me to hold on to it. And this pink bin is already labeled. So we might as well make room on the shelf, get it up off of the floor. That way it looks a little better and part of our rough organization. And behind that was forgotten things that I thought I needed to keep, like this pink mailer. I wanted to reuse it, have it nice and bright for things that I'm selling on Mercari to ship it in, and I really don't have time to sell things anymore. And whatever I sold, I was gonna wrap in this, and I don't need to keep it. Same with this bag. And the old Tupperware bowl, I'm never gonna clean this and reuse it. It's time to recycle it. And back here is my 101 Dalmatian window clings from the 90s. And I had made the decision to let them go last year, but the animal rescue was not accepting any donations. So I think it's time to give them a call again. And moving on to this basket, looks like there's definitely a lot of miscellaneous papers that we have to go through. And oh my goodness, do you see this? This is Brandon's schedule when he was an infant, and I had to go back to work second shift because my husband was first shift. Why is this giving me such the feels? And this art book right here, this is from college. And because I am an artist in heart, I feel like this book was like an expression of my soul. I am an artiste and I relate to all these artists in here, and I just attach such extreme sentimental emotion to these items, but I know I need to let it go. And I can tell that everything underneath of this is from when Brandon was a baby, 2008 and 2009. Yep, look at the coupon. When does that expire? 2009. And believe it or not, I can let this go. The coupons, I can totally let it go, but here's all the baby instructions, and what's happening is that my heart is being flooded with this new exciting season of my life back then, right? All the events are coming back alive. Brandon being a little baby, me loving every second of being a mother to a newborn baby and seeing him develop, because this was one of my favorite seasons of life. But I have to let this stuff go. I have to detach my heart from this. I already have plenty of baby things that I held on to and pictures. So it's okay. It's okay to let this go. And this green basket has a lot of things that I don't have to hold on to anymore. I know why I originally held on to it. I attached some kind of self-expression to the item to think that I had to keep it because it made me feel like a certain way. But now that I've been doing the heart work and self-therapy and meditation and prayer, I no longer have to hold on to these items to validate that I'm that person who I always dreamt to be. I am her. I am abundant. I am pretty. I am worthy. I am loved. I don't need to hold on to this stuff to remind me of those things. And next in this green bin is, childhood things, of course. These would be considered very sentimental to my heart, and part of this rough organization is finding the bins, labeling them, and in the future doing one huge KonMari method so that I can look at every piece that I have and keep the ones that really spark joy. In this back corner, I can see that there are items that I haven't even decluttered yet, like this lid over here. We can totally recycle it and let that go. And this box over here, I held on to it for my ring light because if it didn't work, I had to send it back in its original packaging, even if it's 6 months later. Yeah, that's just how I was wired to hold on to it. But now we can totally let that go. It works. It's been 6 months. And the rest of this stuff, there really is no reason to hold on to it. I can let this go. These boots are incredibly old. I have not worn them in probably over 15 years, and I'm not going to wear them anytime soon. They can absolutely get donated. And looking in this box, I can let go of everything in it. This is my Superwoman Halloween costume boot coverings. I mean, I don't need to hold on to it. And here is the rest of that 80s Madonna costume that I had gotten from Goodwill from years and years ago. And in this purple bin is more childhood items. And I am going to keep them for now because that is what feels right in my heart. There is no pressure for me to declutter things that I'm not ready to let go of. Because if you do that, if you let go of things you're not ready yet, you could regress. And you'll feel that sense of loss because you weren't ready, and you'll go back to hoarding, and that's not what we want to do. So it is okay to keep some things that are precious to your heart, like the Pokemon TV guide from 1999. I'm keeping that, and I'm going to give it to my boys because I know they'll love it, and they have actually been wanting to start their own Pokemon channel. And now I'm going to be moving hubby's ab machine away from the wall so that, hey, maybe we can both start using it. It's important to have a strong core, right? But no, in all seriousness, I'm trying to get to the wall because I want to start stacking the bins with the labels facing outward. This is part of that raw organization because as we continue to declutter the basement, when I find something I want to keep, I want to be able to easily put it into the labeled bin because I still have a lot of decluttering that I have to do in this basement before I can do the official pretty organizing, nice shelves, coordinating bins, labels. I'm still finding things that I want to make sure I put in its category, like that Oreo tin. That way, when we're ready, I can do big KonMari declutters on the different categories and become more organized. This is just the rough organizing, getting us ready for the pretty official organization. And now I get to show you my huge tossy pile. This really added up, and I am going to recycle it as best as I can. And looking over all this, I sure have a lot of jolts for today. And if you don't know what a jolt is, it just means just one little thing. Each day, if we just let go of one little thing, we'll start to see progress and clearing out of our spaces. Now, you can have one jolt, or you can have 30 or 50. I mean, heck, this pile probably has 100 jolts in it if I count every single thing. So it's up to you how much you want to declutter each day. And now I get to show you another open space in the basement and our rough organization. We're getting there. This is the next baby step. The bins are all facing outward. They're labeled. I can see what's in the clear ones. It makes it much easier for me to put things away that I want to keep as we declutter this hoarded basement. This is just step one of organizing. As we get through it, as we take the next step to clear out this basement, we get closer and closer to that goal of having a cleared out space and pretty organized space. And do we still have a lot of work ahead of us? Sure, there's still some things that we have to go through, but that's okay, because each day we're taking our baby steps and getting closer and closer to our goal. My favorite saying will always be, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. And that's exactly what we're doing, taking the next easy step in our hearts.